Welcome. Welcome to episode 3 of Soul Awakening podcast series, Quantum Age of Awakening and the Consciousness in Science. Welcome back to my Soul Awakening podcast series. I'm so glad that you are here again today. Normally, I am being produced by Sacred Light Broadcasting, and they are on the road doing their thing. So I'm bringing it to you this way, in this format. Over the last 2 weeks, we have been talking about the basics of quantum energy and how consciousness and your awareness plays a part in shaping your reality. Today, we're going to explore just a little bit more about how it connects, or how the science connects you to your spirituality, and your spirituality connects you to the science of the energy that's around you. It connects you in a very beautiful way: energy, frequency, and vibration. We'll dive into the uncertainty principle some more. And remember, the uncertainty principle says that we cannot know everything all at once. So I'll show you how this is just part of life. How the more we try to control life, the more things shift. But awareness is what you are. Awareness is always aware. And you become aware of new possibilities. The more you observe a situation or circumstance, infinite possibilities open up to you. So we'll review the uncertainty principle. This is seen by scientists. And it's the simple explanation, once again, is the uncertainty principle simply states that you cannot pin down every single detail of something. The more tightly you try to pin it down, the more that opens up. The more that you try to pin something down and control it, the more it resists and becomes something else. The more tightly you try to grab one piece of information, another piece of information slips away and becomes something else. That's it. Scientists discovered that little particles, little tiny building blocks of everything, don't behave like solid objects. They move in waves. That's what we talked about last week, right? But the moment you observe them, they become matter or solid, or they become things. So because of this, if you know where a particle is, you lose the certainty about how that particle is moving. Either you know how it's moving, or you know where it exactly is. If you know how it's moving, then you lose clarity on where it's at or where it is. Scientists believe that they finally come to some conclusion that this is a natural trade-off built into the universe. Some scientists believe that. So let's talk about the metaphors to help you understand it. Imagine a dark room. You shine a light, right? You shine that if you shine a light, the focus of the flashlight is on one spot. And you see that spot clearly, but you don't see everything else. Everything else is still there, but you don't see it. But the rest of the room is dark and is still uncertain. If you shine a wide light or a wide soft light, the whole room is visible, but that single aspect or object may not be as crystal clear. It doesn't stand out. This is exactly what the uncertainty principle is like. Want another metaphor? Think of waves in an ocean. You can know where the wave is high, but then you don't know exactly how it's moving. Or you can know how high the wave is, or how the wave is moving, but then you don't know how spread out or how clear of a spot you might have. Think of watching a surfer, how they move through that wave of water that's a circle. It looks like a circle, like they're moving through as the wave comes over. Right? Imagine a fan. When the fan is off, you can see each blade clearly. I love this one. The position is clear. You see the blades. You see where they're positioned because motion isn't happening. But as soon as the fan is turned on and it's spinning fast, you can't see the blades at all anymore. It kind of becomes a blur. Motion is clear, but position becomes unknown because you don't see the blades. You don't see the blades moving. You see the action of them moving. Okay. Okay, we'll do one more. This one I love. The music metaphor, beat versus melody. In music, if you focus intensely on the beat, you might lose awareness of the melody. And I say might. Right? I say might. Let me read. Hello, my friend. It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to see you. I'm going through this now. I tried bending and shaping something to what I wanted, and it wants to do the opposite. I'm sitting back and just allowing. Exactly. Sitting back and just allowing. Right? Forgive me. I'm going to take a sip of water. So, in this music metaphor, if you focus intensely on the beat, you might lose awareness of the melody. And you see how they say might, right? If you focus deeply on the melody, you might lose track of the beat. This has happened to me often. And I used to always blame this on me only being able to hear in one ear. Right? The mind can't lock, it's believed that the mind can't lock on to one aspect or the other, not perfectly both at once. It leans towards one more than the other. Okay? So I have a lot of other metaphors. You can DM me if you want me to share a few more with you. I'll share one more with you because the divine is just tickling me with this one. The meditation focused metaphor. When meditating, if you focus too tightly on one thought or sensation, the rest of your awareness fades. If you open your awareness to everything, no single thing is clear. This maps kind of beautifully with understanding the spiritual or the esoteric parallel to quantum energy, and how science is not just right and religious or spirituality isn't just the right one. They both are saying the same thing, just different ways, right? Many spiritual teachings say something similar, right? Just like science. The tighter we try to control something, the less we actually see. That which we resist, if the more we resist it, it will persist. The more we push it away, it will persist. But when we're relaxed, or when we relax our grip and become aware, now new possibilities open up. We become aware of the fact that we don't like a situation or circumstance. We observe it and become aware of it. And the more we are, if we are awareness, then we're aware. Awareness is always aware. Awareness is always observing. Now we've stepped into observing. So just like the particles, life is sometimes fuzzy. Sometimes fuzzy when we try to force it. If it don't force, don't fit. Relax and let it flow. Most of the time we're not doing that, right? But if we relax and surrender and allow it to flow, then it becomes open. And sometimes we might even find a little creativity in it. The more we observe, the more we become aware, the less control is released in our grip. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay? So the parallel is, in science is focused on, it says that if you're focused on one thing, it makes other things uncertain. Spirituality says control in one area creates imbalance everywhere else. Both, listen to both. Awareness brings clarity and flow. Listen to that. Just take that in for a moment. The more you become aware of something, the more opportunity of situations, circumstances changing can flow to you. You get to pick something different to move in a different way, in a different fashion. Sometimes you decide, oh, I'm tired of pushing upstream. Let me turn my canoe or my little paddle boat around and put the oars in the boat and allow it to flow downstream. And look at all the things, that infinite possibilities that you can grab along the way, right? So let me turn off this light here. I don't know if that helped a little. Let's see if I can turn this one on. I'm not sure. It's very interesting. There. It's kind of fuzzy, huh? Well, it is what it is. I don't know what's going on, but I don't have time to figure it out. Hold on, one more thing. Let me try something else. A little bit better. Who knew? Who actually knew? There we go. Okay. Now that's working. Alrighty. So the uncertainty principle teaches us that the universe isn't rigid. It's malleable. It wants us to create in it. When we stop trying to control every detail, we make space for possibilities. When we try to stop controlling everything, when we stop even pushing against it, we open ourselves up to surrendering to new opportunities or new possibilities for things to change. Okay? We get to create new pathways, and we get to be creative. Not just see creativity, but we get to be it. So last week we talked about a scientist called Werner Heisenberg. He was the foundation, or believed to be the founder, of the uncertainty principle. He quoted, "The more precisely the position is determined, the less precisely the momentum is known." He quoted that in 1927. Then again in 1958, he quoted, "What we observe is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning." He quoted that in 1958. We're seeing nature by how we're questioning it. We're seeing the universe by how we're questioning it. Kind of like somebody trying to put words in your mouth, but you never really said it. You said something, but they redirected or retranslated the words according to their perspective and said, "Oh, she said that," or "he said that." Right? Niels Bohr, he was Heisenberg's mentor and major quantum pioneer, said, "Anyone who is not shocked by quantum theory has not understood it." It should shock you. It should make you go, It should make you go, "What?" Because the more you know about it, the more that life expands and shows up for you. The more the quantum energy starts taking on shape, right? The more it moves out of its waves. This is the quantum world's logic. Okay? Albert Einstein's our favorite, right? Albert Einstein was not a fan, but deeply aware of the uncertainty principle. He quoted, "God does not play dice with the universe." That was his perception and his belief as he was perceiving the energy and the particles as they were moving in waves, as they were turning into matter, into things. Einstein said this because it's believed that he resisted the idea that uncertainty is built into reality. That became a very powerful quote for teaching. You get to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Richard Feynman quoted on The Mystery of Not Knowing. He said, "I think I can safely say that no one understands quantum mechanics. I believe," and I'm going to give you what I believe from the higher being, "that's because it's constantly changing. You learn one thing, and then all of a sudden, it turns into something else. It's constantly growing, constantly expanding, constantly becoming." We heard from Max Born last week. He introduced the idea of probability in quantum physics or quantum mechanics. He quoted, "The motion of particles follow the laws of probability, not the law of certainty. So we can think that this might link us to the beauty in what we learn or what we teach about possibilities and openness or surrender. We can hear from some of the spiritualists or the esoteric quotes. Alan Watts said, the more one thing tends to be permanent, the more it tends to be lifeless. It was meant to take on life. And then it was meant to become something else. Like my mother says, this too shall pass. It wasn't meant to stay forever. It was meant to go back to the divine. Right? J. Krishnamurti, I had to say that slow, quoted, to understand life is to understand ourselves, and that is both the beginning and end of evolution. But we cannot understand ourselves if we are looking for certainty. The universe is unknown until we make it known. And then once you make it known, then it changes again. Okay? Rumi said, try not to resist change. That comes, right? Try not to I'll put it this way. Try not to resist change. It's going to come your way anyway. It's going to show up. Change is going to show up. Try not to resist it. Try to surrender to it and see where it takes you. That's what you were giving your likes and dislikes for. That's what you were giving your emotions for. A spiritual echo of the idea that shifts things. Try not to control that echo. Let it just be. Eckhart Tolle said, when you become comfortable with uncertainty, infinite possibility opens up in your life. This one aligns exactly with what you're either teaching someone else or you're learning about for yourself. Uncertainty opens you up to infinite possibilities. Okay? The universal language is energy, frequency, and vibration. You've probably heard everybody saying this. Everything is energy. Well, that's not just an inspiring quote. It's true based on your perception. It's true even at the smallest level. Everything that exists is made up of moving energy. Every particle. Even the chair that you sit in or the desk that you're sitting at right now. It's made up of energy and it's constantly moving. Once your desk stopped becoming the tree, they cut the tree down and made your desk. It's still vibrating, but now it's slowly changing, disintegrating. The legs might be wobbly. Your chair might be tilted just a bit. Right? The air that you breathe, the thoughts that you think, all are vibration. All have a vibrational level and a vibrational speed or frequency. So think about this. When something vibrates slowly, it feels solid, like a rock or a piece of wood, right? When it vibrates fast, it could become less solid, like air or water. When it vibrates even faster, it can become faster than the speed of light, right? Or pure energy. And it's so fast, you can't see energy, but you know the energy turn. When you go to flip the switch, your light comes on. Or you flip the switch downward, your lights go off. That energy is moving. It's moving through the power lines. You can't see it moving, but you know it is because it's powering up the whole neighborhood, right? So, in a way, everything around us is part of a giant ocean of vibration. Everything around us is part of a giant ocean of vibration. Everything is moving, and it's moving at all these different speeds. And it's the universal language. In science, this is what we call the quantum field, a vast, invisible field of energy that fills the entire universe. It's where every particle of matter and every wave of energy exists and interacts. And spirituality is often talked about energy in more of a way of a personal, kind of like life force, like chi or prana, right? These are just a few different words for the same idea, that there is an invisible current of energy flowing through all living things. Now let us connect this to our bodies. You probably noticed that your energy changes depending on your feelings. Oh, I'm so drained. I'm so tired, right? When you're happy or grateful, your energy feels light and open. When you're stressed or angry, it feels heavy and tight. That's because your emotions are also vibrating. Okay? Every thought and every feeling you have creates a frequency. Think of yourself as a radio transmitter. You transmit out and you receive back. Whatever frequency you're tuned into is the one that you're sending out into the world. And that's the same kind of energy that you will, or we'll put it this way, you tend to get back. Maybe you don't get it back in exactly that same form, depending on what you're experiencing in your situations or circumstances. So if your energy frequency is one of love and calm and openness, life is going to often reflect that type of energy back to you. Or at least you'll become aware of your vibration. You'll gain power, or you'll gain the power to lift yourself up with that energy. Put yourself in certain positions to share love and laughter with someone else, or be creative, right? But if your frequency is vibrating negatively, you could be in a lower vibration. And energy seeking itself will seek itself in a lower vibration and show up for you. Take a deep breath right now and ask yourself in that deep breath, what vibration am I carrying right now? Yes, Grace, learning to stop trying to control things has been also a curve for me as well. Hold on a second. Okay. I want to see. I find myself doing it almost automatic, then have to correct myself, like I was mentioning. Actually, yeah, it's part of life to, you know, seek balance. Our higher beings are seeking balance, seeking to be balanced, seeking to live. It doesn't want you to be perfect. So when you're self-correcting, that's a good thing. When you're observing and making a decision what you want to do next, that's a great thing for you. It might not be for somebody else, but all you can do is be accountable for yourself, right? So let's do a reflection together. Take a deep breath, and in this deep breath, ask yourself, what vibration am I carrying right now? I'm carrying joy. Why? Because before I came on live, my internet had went out. And at that point, I was like rushed. Oh my God, I'm not going to show up on time, right? That's what my ego was doing. But right now, at this very time, as I take that breath in, calm joy, right? But you get to ask yourself this question: is it peaceful? Is it restless? Is it hopeful? Is it tired? Whatever it is, just notice it. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just observe it. Like we talked about last week. Just observe it. Right? Now imagine adjusting that vibration slightly. Maybe by focusing on gratitude, where you were focusing on actually judging yourself, right? Just being grateful that you showed up for you. Maybe loving yourself a little bit more in a certain situation or circumstance where you weren't loving yourself enough, or having compassion for someone else who showed up and wasn't quite on the same path and took it out on you, and you took that energy in, right? Notice how even just thinking about those feelings can help you to change your inner energy. All you're doing is observing it. You're not judging it. What you're observing, can I give myself more grace? That's the power of vibration. Small shifts inside you. Small shifts inside you can create big changes around you. Because everything in the universe expands. Why? Because it's energy. In the next part of your growth, it helps you to remember that your vibration isn't fixed. You can change it. You can change your thoughts. You can change your environment. You can change your actions. You can even, if you change your actions and your environment, then the environment around other people that are around you will change. It might not be for your highest and greatest good, but it might be for theirs. You have the ability to tune or fine tune your energy each and every day. Let's call it a day, a now moment. You get to change the frequency of your, let's put it this way. I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to slow my roll. You get to change the frequency of your mindset, your breath, your words, your focus. What brings all of those together? Your, Y-O-U-R. What belongs to you, you can only change. You can't change someone else. They'll change because of the surrounding around you, yes, but it's not because they're changing for you. So here's something to try. Just try it. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. When you wake up in the morning, take a moment before reaching for your phone. I've said this before last week. Before you start your routine, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and set an intention for the kind of energy you want to carry throughout the whole day, throughout your whole now moment called a day. You can say something like, I choose to be calm and open. Or I'm tuning myself to peace and clarity. That simply sets your vibration. Now, you don't have to stay, you might not stay on it or stay in it, but at least you set it. And guess what? If you veer off, you can reset it. So before we close today, let's bring science and spirituality back together. We can do that. Doesn't have to be for everybody. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Physics tells us that the universe is made of vibrating energy fields. Science tells us that we are part of those fields, conscious and unconscious. We are aware beings. Science tells us that if we focus clearly, it helps us to remember one of the most important ideas in quantum physics, the uncertainty principle. It simply tells us that we cannot focus on one thing and know how another thing is moving. We can't focus on where it's at and how it's moving at the same time. That's what scientists believe. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If we try to measure a particle, if we try to measure a particle or particle's exact position, we lose the precise information about its movement. If we try to measure its movement, we lose the clarity about where it is. It isn't because our tools aren't imperfect or are imperfect. It's because the universe itself behaves in a way that resists absolute certainty. Particles move in a wave until they're observed. And once they're observed, they take form. If you're the observer observing the particle, then you have to say, what information am I giving through my energy for it to take form? Right? What this means in the quantum world is that things are not fixed. They are not rigid. It means that they're fluid, that they're shifting, that they're full of infinite possibilities. Particles exist in a kind of cloud of potential. They take on form. They take on behavior. In other words, the act of observing them or interacting with them on a quantum level influences what they'll become. And we are quantum energy inside this body. We are the same energy inside as outside. So when you bring this back to a spiritual perspective, it creates a beautiful bridge between spirituality and science. Just as one particle exists in a field of possibilities, so do we. Our thoughts, our emotions, our choices, the state of mind we're in influences the way our lives unfold. It influences how matter is shaped for us, how the particle changes from a wave, turns into matter, and becomes solid for us, becomes things, becomes situations, circumstances, starts as thoughts. It relieves us from the responsibility that we're responsible or that we control everything. Life is too complex for that. We do shape it, and we do shape the world around us. But the less we try to control it, the more it can come into the less we try to control it, and the more we surrender to it, the more we can shape it. Because there is infinite opportunities of how we can shape it. Awareness becomes a kind of observation and intention. It becomes a gentler way of guiding you to infinite possibilities and allowing those infinite possibilities to surround us and just flow. Why? Because eventually they're going to do that anyway. The uncertainty principle reminds us that life is not meant to be lived from a place of rigid predictability. It's a dance with potential. I love that. Hey, love. By becoming more conscious of your vibration, your mindset, and the energy you choose to carry, you begin to interact with your experiences. Now they're not just experiences that you see as something doing something to you. You begin to interact with them. Now that you know that you don't have to resist them, that you can surrender to them and see where they want to take you. What are they trying to say to you? Why do they keep coming around? Why do these particles keep showing up like they're showing up? Because all they're trying to say to you is, you created me. Tell me where you want to go with it. Right? Energy you choose to carry, you begin to interact with your experiences in a more creative and intentional, and there's that word, intentional way. Science shows us that the universe is fundamentally open and dynamic. And that spirituality shows us that in our inner state, play is meaningful. It's a meaningful role. We get to move through its openness. The universe wants us to play with it. That is where science and spirituality meet, in the understanding that we are part of a universe built on infinite possibilities, shaped both by physical law and by awareness. Awareness is aware. It's aware how we move through life. It's aware. I'm letting you take that in. Take that in. It's aware. I read Rhonda Byrne's book way back when. We're awareness, and awareness is aware. We're not only being aware, we are awareness. The universe is aware. If you like to explore a little more deeply, I'm going to recommend some books. I only read quotes from them. I haven't read them in their entirety. The Field by Lynn McTaggart. Vibrational Medicine by Richard Gerber. Both books explain in simple ways how energy, frequency, and vibration connect our mind and our bodies to the wider universe. Let the unknown be known. That's the only way. If you step into the unknown and ask the unknown a question, it will reveal to you an answer. But what's guaranteed is there's going to be a change, and you're going to ask another question. I'm pausing because I'm letting you guys take this in. Take it in. Take a deep breath with it. I'd like to thank you for joining me for this episode 3. Quantum Age of Awakening and Consciousness in Science is bridging the gap that was created between science and spirituality or religiosity. They're not different. They're wholeness. They're just presented a different way. So those that need it to be presented in a different way can understand it. So I hope this has helped. I mean, I'm still doing my deep diving into this. And I'm quite sure there's a lot more. I'm not a scientist, but this has helped me understand that science and spirituality are not opposites. There's no war going on. There's no battle. They're showing and sharing the same thing, and they're just using different terminology. And it's different scientists at different stages of their growth teaching the information. Different spiritualists at different parts of their growth teaching the infinite workings of spirituality. This is what malleable means, that it can be shaped. Let's see. Sandra, why do you think we feel the need to control so much? Because it's the easiest vibration for our ego to grab. The unknown is very scary place for our ego. Our ego knows that it tells us what's going on outside. It's never had to really explain it. It just says, see, here it is. I'm showing you this. It's never had to give you information about what you can do with it. Basically, what your ego does is it goes back to your past, and it picks an experience close to that, and it gives you what you did then. And then we choose, as in the human experience, we choose that same choice, thinking that it'll give us a different outcome, and it doesn't. So our egos, that's how our ego wants to control it. It doesn't know about surrender. It doesn't know, hey, let's go with the flow, because there'll be a different, there might be a different outcome. Yeah. It's right. That damn ego. But don't shame your ego. Don't shame it. It got you here to this point where you get to ask a new question, where you've had some spiritual awakenings that have moved you to a point where you're becoming more comfortable about observing, even in somebody teaching you about it. Instead of resisting it, now you get to say, oh, let me see where that's going to take me. Yeah, we put a lot of work into getting the ego right. We've been told that the ego needs to be, either the ego needs to have an ego death, or the ego needs to get right. And we have some people saying, well, don't come to me until you come to me correct. I love that one. Listening to people say, don't come to me. You better, if you come into me, you better come correct. Well, those same people that said that, they had to be incorrect at a point in time where they showed up to somebody. Your ego is eager to learn. It just doesn't know it until it starts to do it. That's just growth and expansion, right? Yeah, but now that you've said that, now that you said my ego is stubborn, well, you've identified it. So now you can't go back, because you've identified that your ego is stubborn. So when you allow your ego to go, it's because you know, and that's where you want it to go. Right? You know it's stubborn. So therefore, now it's going to be stubborn. I'll tell you, I've said that exact same thing too. I've said it. I said, I'm going to let my ego have a moment. And my higher being says, why? Aren't we supposed to be showing your ego what opportunities it has for it to change? And I go, yeah. So sometimes where I want to have a Gemini full-blown ego moment, I have to sit back and see where this feeling is going to take me. That, what are the infinite possibilities? If I do this, will this happen? Not judging myself, but see, because we're not judging the ego. but we're being aware about what we are verbally and knowledgeably knowing about our ego, right? Our ego, come on, let's just break it down, is energy. Our ego is a part of our unconscious mind. It's played there for a long time, but it's energy. Our ego wants to create for us. And for quite some time, it was doing the creating for us through giving us observation of the outside world. It knew nothing about the inner us, the inner sanctum. That was our higher being's job as it came online. And it was meant for our higher being and our egoic self to cooperate with each other so that we could have a wonderful experience. Let's see. Ooh, girl, I definitely have to have a sit down with my ego sometimes. She wants to get in the way and I'm telling her not to. Yep. But the more you tell her not to, have you ever noticed the more persistent she is? How about giving her a subtle nudge? How about we go this way? Okay, we're going to try this. And instead of telling her not to. That works for me, I'd say 97% of the time. The other 3%, yeah, we're at war. But my higher being always calms me down and says, let's just keep going. Yes, exactly. Small nudges. Gentle nudges. Your ego is not your enemy. When I first started teaching about the ego, that's one of the first things I learned is my ego isn't my enemy, because I learned it the other way. The ego, you need a ego death, and you need to always be in the positive polarity, and you got to get rid of all the negativity. The thing is, what I'm learning is the polarities are meant to be there so that we can have choices. Your ego was given to you so that it could direct you or show you things so that you could make a choice. It wasn't there to make the choice for you, because as soon as your higher being started to recall and started to interact, and you begin to be triune, you started to work in tandem with each other. It wasn't going to be an easy thing for your ego, because it spent a long time being the only knowledgeable information, or the only information center that you were connected into, even unconsciously. So now the change, of course, is not going to be easy, because your ego is going to fight you on it, because it believes it knows. Energetically. And that's okay. Right? So it's okay to give yourself gentle nudges. But the moment you say that you know that your ego is, doing this and doing that, that tells me that you're in observing mode. So now your ego gets to have a teachable moment. But that means that you have to take the time to interact with your higher being and teach it. And sometimes it's not easy when you want to teach the little you how to come in alignment. The little Sandy or the little Olivia or the little Gracie coming into alignment. Right? So I hope this helps, right? It helps me because I grew up where science and religiosity and spirituality were at odds with each other. Where if you believed in science, you weren't believing in spirituality or in religiosity, right? But they are saying the same thing, just using different language, giving you the information from a different scope, from a different placement in where the vibration of information is coming from. They're getting the same information from the divine as we are. They just don't call it the divine. They don't call it the creator. They know, most of them know that there's something bigger out there. They just don't put a label to it. Except the universe or quantum energy or particles or whatever their other terminology is. Oh, I love you, Grace. I just need to learn better to allow the more feminine part of me to come out versus the masculine, because the masculine can be a bit harsh. Masculine and feminine energy, the yin and the yang, are energy. Remember? Go back and check that series out. You are meant to, if you're in, and I love that because you're observing that you're in your yang, you're in your yang energy a lot more than you're in your yin. And once you notice that, then only you can change that. Only you can ask your embodying question about where you need to go to be in your yin. I love that you asked that. So that series that I did about yin and yang and versus feminine and masculine energy versus male female, and it being only about the vagina and the penis, check that one out. That one's a good one to pair with this, right? And we haven't even finished this. We're only up to, we are closing episode 3. We've got 3 more episodes to go, right? Or maybe 4. Right? Soul Awakening podcast series, Yin and Yang. So I'm going to sugar, you were my candy girl. Sugar is Olivia's cat, and I always sing that song to her because that's her name, Sugar. So tell her Auntie loves her. Anyway, so as we close, I want to thank you for joining me for this episode. Okay. I want to tell you that, well, I will probably be here again on this platform with episode 4 because my producer that produces this for me is on the road. So I hope everything was presented in a way that it was easy on the eye. Uh, the music was levels were good for you so that you could hear me. And I want to invite you back next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay. I had to do it at 4 today because I had an event to go to. And so it will be back again at its regular time schedule, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. I think 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And episode 4 is called Entanglement and the Interconnected Universe. So join me then. And all I've got to say is one love. Now, this is supposed to have an outro, but I don't know how it knows to do the outro. All I can do is end the stream and tell you thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's see. I'm just hold on a second. You know what, guys? I'm just going to end. You get what you get. One love. Thank you so much.